What is up, everybody? I wanted to quickly make this video because I realized I never actually talked about how I ended up spending the first 2 weeks of my Rff Phalloplasty recovery alone, and I just wanted to talk about how that occurred. This is going to be completely unedited, and I'm driving, so forgive me if I don't look at the camera, and hopefully the audio is pretty good. But what I want people to know and understand is that, can you recover, just in absolute terms, can you recover from Rff Phalloplasty alone? And in absolute terms, the answer to that is yes, because I have done so for the most part. Now, would I actually recommend anybody to do that? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have even recommended it for myself, and it actually was not my intended path. Like, I wasn't intentionally trying to do my recovery alone. What occurred is that basically my insurance, and I'm not going to get into it because it's a done deal and I don't want to rehash all of that, but basically my insurance, the day I was supposed to go to Brookdale, which was a Friday, Brookdale was closed on that Friday. So when my insurance was trying to get back to them to try and be like, hey, I need you to respond to this so that we can try and approve this insurance process, Brookdale was closed, so nobody was able to return their call. So my insurance just went ahead and denied covering that, and I obviously could not afford to stay at Brookdale with no insurance. And of course, you know, like they tell you, like, just remember, like, Brookdale is like yada 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 and all of that fun jazz. I took all of that into account. At the time, there was no reason for me to believe that I would not have been able to have my insurance approve Brookdale. I did not have any backup plans. And so long story short, what ended up happening is I went to Brookdale. I stayed for 24 hours just to get to Brookdale, you know, and like be out of the hospital. Cause I was kind of, you know, like being like rushed, like, hey, you need to sign this form, you need to be released, and all of that fun jazz. And so after talking over with my family, I was like, whatever, you know, like, I'm just gonna go to Brookdale. Went to Brookdale. Brookdale was absolutely nothing that I expected. It was not what I was intending. It is, for all intents and purposes, a senior living facility. And you know, the quality just wasn't what I was expecting. And so I checked myself out because I'm an adult and I can do that. So I checked myself out of Brookdale and I got an extended stay. And I got the extended stay for the thankfully, I got the extended stay, and it was all of the money that I had to get that extended stay for the 2 weeks until my girlfriend at the time could come and be with me for the last week, and we went to our Airbnb that I was going to be staying at for the last week of my birthday, you know, kind of just, you know, doing fun shit, you know, being at the Airbnb during recovery, you know, just do something nice. So those first 2 weeks I was completely alone in the extended stay by myself. I even tried to get at-home care, but by the time we even would have gotten my at-home care nurse situated and to me, my girlfriend at the time would have been there. It would have been completely pointless. More money that I don't have to spend. So I did the full 2 weeks by myself. Thankfully, and I am very, very blessed that I had no complications during that time, because I was doing a lot of shit that I really had no business doing. Like, for real, had no business doing. Like, those first 3 days of being out of the hospital, imagine just being completely stir crazy, having no food, being inside an extended stay alone, and just imagine the type of shit you can get up to in that situation. Like, I was just doing all types of shit that I didn't need to be doing. Like, I was pulling out the couch sofa because I thought that would be more comfortable, like figuring out how to get you know, like towels and stuff, like I had to carry all my luggage upstairs not upstairs, but you know, they had an elevator, but I had to, you know, roll my 50-pound bag of luggage, you know, down the halls and shit like that. Like, this is not something I would recommend anybody to do ever. And I'm pretty sure the only reason that I was successful is by the grace of the universe. Like, on God. I'm sweating. I just came from the gym. But, so I did those first 2 weeks entirely by myself. I did absolutely everything. I changed my dressings. I took my own showers. I changed my, you know, my urine bag that was hooked up to my suprapubic catheter. Like, I did all of that by myself. I got myself to my weekly check-ins by myself. I took an Uber. Like, all of that requires so much energy. And I would not recommend it because there's just so many things that can go wrong. Thankfully, I am a very, very healthy individual. And I have the support of my parents. So even though, you know, the extended stay took up a majority of my funds, I had them to rely on financially to be like, okay, even if I can't, you know, do all the shit that I need to, I can at least make sure that I can get food sent to me. I can, you know, order Instacart with no worries. If you have to worry about any type of finances whatsoever, I would not recommend ever trying to do phalloplasty recovery by yourself. And this doesn't take into account that I even looked into, like, I don't remember the name of the association, but you can have like other trans guys come and support you or like take care of you as like kind of at-home care. I even looked into that, and I don't remember why I decided not to do it, but I decided not to do it. And that's that. And so I didn't have that. I didn't have at-home care. I didn't have any of that. And there were I need to do another video because there was definitely a dark night of the souls moment for me, and I don't think a lot of people talk about those moments during bottom surgery, because I certainly had one, and it's very, very vivid. I wrote myself a letter to kind of like read back on, to encourage myself during those 2 weeks. I was watching you guys, it's insane. It feels like a fever dream now because I'm so far removed from it, and I was obviously hyped up on all types of painkillers. That's the other thing. I was hyped up on painkillers, and I was alone, and no one was like, I had no business doing anything of the sort like that. And the Crane Center honestly is just extremely lucky that I'm a healthy individual. Because in any other situation where, let's say, somebody maybe not as fortunate, or just like the cards just don't work out, in any other situation, they would have been held probably liable, or something they would have been held responsible for. And that could, you know, like severely damage their reputation and all that stuff. Good doctors, good works. But my situation with housing it's just what it was, you know, it is what it is. I'm thankful for every single moment, of course, that occurred, because from that entire situation, I know for a fact that as long as I stay positive, stay focused, even without necessarily the support of other people, I can do what I need to do to survive. Like, if we think about life in terms of like, okay, can I make sure that I can get to the next day? I know for a fact that regardless, I can do that. Which is also another thing that I attribute a lot of my determination, self-love, self-worth about myself today to, because I was able to go through that entire process still happy, still fine, still healthy, and like come out better. And at least to me, I came out better from that entire endeavor. But yes, I would, please, you guys, do whatever you possibly can to not do RFF alone. If I could go back in the past, I would tell myself to not let myself be pressured by any hospital staff to try and get out of, to like be released. I would have been like, I'm not being released right now until I figure this situation out. I would have probably just stayed at the hospital until something occurred, or I figured, like my mom came back or anything like that. It's very much more complicated than I'm saying right now, because like my mom was there and she left literally the day just before all that happened, where I got denied and shit. So a lot happened, but I wouldn't recommend it. Even if I could have had her fly back, which was not possible, I would have at least had her come back. And it's really only, I have no idea what would have happened if my girlfriend would have not been able, at the time, would not have been able to, like come up and talk to me. But yeah, that's what I got. That's what I have on that. Those are my thoughts. And I will see you guys next time. If you have any other questions that I maybe did not go over in this, let me know.